Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. One of my viewers asked me if I would make a pocket card, and she showed me a photo of the one she liked. I said I'd give it a try, and I'm working on it. I hope you'll stay tuned. So first off, let me show you kind of what I envisioned it to be. And this is what's called a Spirelli, and it's strings that you make go around in a circle. Well, what I found out the hard way is you can't go anywhere where there's a straight edge like this because your strings come off. So I taped and did all kinds of stuff to keep the strings in place, but honestly, I don't recommend doing a heart. But here's the pocket part of it. And I thought it was really cute. I came up with this idea all by myself. You pull this off, and this comes out completely. The key to a great day is a happy heart. Well, that was just great. Perfect. That's a great Happy Valentine's Day card, but here was the tricky part. I couldn't get it back in easily, and that made me nuts. So I thought, okay, let's start again. So we're going to try it a different way. It's not going to be pockety as much as that one was, but it has a pocket component. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put our paper in at on the 11-inch length. We're going to score it at 1 inch. Oh, almost put it in the wrong spot. At 1 inch and at 5.5 inches. That kind of lost its mind halfway down. Let me score it again so I can get that score in there all the way. Okay, now we're good. So at 1 inch and 5.5 inches. Yeah, I have a lot of pink glitter all over the place from that last project with the wreath. It's not really a wreath. You should really check it out, though. I'll link it somewhere up here. Anyway, so those are our two scores initially. And let me see, I have a couple other scores I want to make. I want to make a score at 2 1/4 inches, oh, excuse me, 2 1/8 inches, just down to the 1 inch line, and 2 1/4 inches, just down to that 1 inch line. Then at 6 1/4, just down to the 1 inch line, and 6 3/8, again, just down to the 1 inch line. That's it. That's all the scoring we're going to do. Then we're going to take our scoreboard, get rid of it, and get our paper trimmer out. You could do this by hand, but it's so much easier doing it with your paper trimmer. It's not even funny. What we're going to do is we're going to put our paper in on the 8.5 inch side. You're going to put it in at 6 1/4 inches. You got that lined up, 6 1/4, and you're going to cut all the way up to that 1 inch line that's near the top. Then you're going to turn it over, and you're going to put it at that 6 1/4 inch line again. This is the easiest way to do it, I'm hoping. And we're going to cut it again up to our 1 inch line. Then you're going to turn it. Now you can do this part by hand if you want to. You don't have to. You're going to line up that 1 inch piece of paper, and you're going to cut down to the first mark, and then you're going to do the same by cutting it out. What you're creating is a T. So you're just cutting out those papers. And if you get caught, or if you struggle with it, you know, just do it over again. Oh, I forgot one more part about this. I need to cut some off at the bottom here. I need to make it so it's only 10.5 inches tall. I forgot to trim that off at the very beginning. So you're going to want to cut your paper down to 10.5 inches when you start. I'll put all these measurements in there. I'm so sorry. The reason is you want it to only have a little bit inside our pocket, the thing that holds our pocket. I don't know what you call that. Let me show you what I mean. We have these two scores up here. You want the outside score to be the one. I guess I could only have you score on the furthest ones. You don't have to score on both, but then you're going to line them up like that, and then you're going to put a little bit of wet glue underneath there. Not a ton, just enough on the very edge, like that. You don't want it to seep out. It doesn't really matter if it seeps onto the paper because we're going to be decorating the paper, so that's not a big deal. You just don't want it to get underneath there. You know what I mean? Don't get it underneath, because this is then going to act as our pocket. It's going to hold it closed. And I'm just going to put a paper clip on this. And since I've made 45 versions of it, we can keep going because I wanted to make sure that we were ready to keep playing at each step. Okay, so now the next thing I wanted to do is I wanted to make a piece to go inside, or to go on the front, and I'm going to decorate this piece with this really pretty heart stamp I got. It's a background stamp. It's called Hearts, and I got it from A. Jillian Vance Design. You have to check into her. She started her stamp company when she was 10, and she's just graduating from college. A. Jillian Vance Design. I'll write that down below, as I always do, and all the directions on how to do it, but I wanted you to know that because that's amazing that anyone would have a vision at that early of an age of what she wanted to do, and that she's creating what she's creating. So what we're going to do is, when I do something on a big stamp like this one, is I like to stamp it in this direction, so it's in the up and down position. And I'm going to use a couple of distress oxides to do this, because I thought it'd be fun to do it in a few pinks. Yes, my background is red, but I'm going to do this part in pinks, because I thought it'd be fun to have some pinks in with my reds. And I'm going to use some pink twine, I think, for my project. Now, oh, did I say that was worn lipstick? And then I'm using picked raspberries to do the rest of it, so that we have two different colors. There we go. And then I hope that's all covered. That one area doesn't look like it's really well covered, but maybe that's just the way that lighter ink looks. I'm just going over it again because I have to. I can't make myself stop. Okay, we're going to take our piece of paper. This is how I do it, because I'm going to go the whole way over. I need to go further over. I didn't think it was as wide as it is, but it's wider than I thought it was. We're going to hold our paper at the bottom so it's straight across. Hold it down. We're going to use our hands to push on the edges to make sure that everything gets well inked. Hold it down with one hand and then rub on it with the other, because you want to make sure you get all of your edges well inked. So now we have our hearts. I'm going to lay that aside because I don't need to do anything with it right now. And the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a Spirelli. In case you want to know, we're going to learn how to do it. The first thing you need to do is you need to get either two similar sized scallop punches, or two similar sized, and by similar I mean one's larger than the other one, dies. And I'm going with dies. This isn't exactly centered. And then what you want to do is you want to center your smaller die inside your larger die. I think those are pretty centered now. And then in my case, I'm going to run that through my die cutting machine, because all I'm going to use here is that inner part. So let me do that and I'll be right back. I wanted to really zoom in on this so that you can see exactly how you're going to make one of these Spirellis. I'm going to take a little bit of washi tape and I'm going to put a piece of tape on the back to cover up my end and to hold it in place. Just like that. Okay. Now when you do this, what you're going to do is you're going to start your Spirelli so that you don't want to go into the middle like that. You want to more go along the edge like this or like this so that you get a good pattern, we'll call it, but you don't want to go into the middle. So you want to stay within the paper, or on the paper, not inside. Then you're going to go to the next loop, and then you're going to go to the next loop below it. Hold it tight. Go to the loop above. Sorry, I'm hoping you can see this. Then go to that loop. Go to this one, and that one. Go to this one, and the next one. Now, I'm going to tell you when it gets tricky. It gets tricky right now because I'm going to have two pieces of string on this indentation, and this twine is really thick, a lot thicker than my other twine, and I might end up having a little bit of trouble. So what I'm going to do to avoid that is I'm going to put another little piece of tape right there and hold that piece down, just so I have kind of a safety mechanism, we'll call it, to hold my to hold it where so I don't have it come out. Okay, so like I said, my very first, my tape is in the wrong spot, sorry. I meant to put my tape up in here like that, just to hold it down. Okay, so you're gonna remember, well, okay, so we started here and flipped to there, then we went to here and there, here to there, here to here, then here to there. Next spot we're going to go to is here, and that's where we're going to overlap. And I'm going to turn, so we go to this one, and you're going to go to the next one that overlaps. I'm sorry, I have to hold this in a weird way, but it's the only way I can keep it where I want it. And I'm going to put it in the next one. All you're doing is you're going from one, all you have to remember is you're always going to just keep going one down from where you were, if that makes any sense at all. Hopefully it does. So you see how we don't have any in that spot, so we're going to go, hold on, we're going to go up to the spot that we stopped at, go there, then to the next one, and the next one, then to the next one, and the next one. You want to keep it as tight as you can. That's kind of why I'm kind of folding it almost, is because I'm trying to keep it as tight as I can. Hold on. This is not the best project for somebody with hands like mine to be able to demonstrate it. I'm sorry about that I can't show you without my hands getting in the way. Hopefully you can see that each one of my divots has two strings coming into it in a V. Do you see that? I'm really sorry that I can't show you a better example of this, but you know, the way my hands work and the way I'm trying to show it to you, it just doesn't fly. You know, something else I might recommend you doing is taking your scissors and snipping your scallops so they're a little bit deeper, and that way it would go in there further. But that's how you make a Spirelli. It's not that hard. I'm sorry, it's tricky for me to explain it and show it, but basically you have a starting place and then you just move one spot on the top and the bottom down from where you started. Each time you do it is one below the upper one and one below the lower one, and you just keep going around until you have two yarns in each of your little holes. I have a heart punch that I want to punch out some hearts and put those on our Spirelli. I'm going to use this heart that I use. It's just a scrap, and I'm going to use, this is sponge blender that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I'm using again the same distress inks as I did on the front on my heart page that I did with the stamp. And that's the worn lipstick, and then I'm going to use the picked raspberry. I'm going to use more of the side of my sponge, and I'm just going to kind of go around that in different ways. Then I'm going to get my heat gun and just dry this really quickly, because oxides don't dry right away, and if you try to paper punch them or use your dyes on them, you're going to end up with a little bit of a problem on your hands trying to get it to punch. And this is just a teeny tiny recollections punch. Okay, there's the ones we're going to play with, and now I'm going to show you how we're going to play with them. So after I punched out my little hearts, I decided what I was going to do is make them look three-dimensional, and this is called dry embossing. Well, at least that's what I think it's called, I'm pretty sure. You take a stylus or something that has a ball on the end of it, and you just rub. Oh, you have to have foam underneath it too. This is just fun foam. You just rub into it on both sides and in the bottom, and then it has kind of a bend to it, and I thought that would look nice on the Spirelli. And I'm going to do one more. The more you do it, the more curved it's going to become, the more 3D. And I'm going to apply these with hot glue, so I have a really good chance of burning my hands off with this, but you'll be able to witness that, so that's the best part. So those are the ones I've done. Now we can put together the front of our card. Let me grab my tape runner. This is the side that I don't like. This is the piece that's going to hide up inside the top. So we're just going to line that up. And I have a Happy Valentine's Day die, and I also have a variety of things, but we have to remember that we have to still decorate this piece. So I thought what I would do with that is get some ribbon. So I decided before I put my ribbon down, I didn't have a ribbon that I liked that would cover that mark. So I'm just going to cover it with another piece of cardstock that's 1 inch by 4 3/8. So I'm just going to cover that over there and just glue it down, because why not, right? No one will ever notice that. They'll never figure that out, will they? If it's a little long, and mine is just a little bit too long, you can just trim it off. You see that little spot right there where it's just a titch too long? We're just going to take our scissors and snip that little piece off. No one will see that. Okay, next step, we're going to take our ribbon. I thought this pale pink ribbon was really pretty. And I'm going to wrap mine all the way around to the back. And then I'm going to put a little bit of tape right there so we can put it in the center. So we're going to wrap it straight like that, as tight as I can, and then I'm going to hold it there and then pinch it down like that so it goes all the way and meets in the center like that. And that way, if you look at it from the front or the back, it looks okay. Then all we're going to do is we're going to fold this down. We're going to do a little bend on it. We're going to fold it down and just tuck it up in there. There's that. Then we're going to take our Spirelli. I think I'll probably hot glue this on first. I think this is the easiest way to get it to stay so it's attached. And I'm going to put the hot glue right on the fibers so that it really stays adhered, because if you put it on the paper it's not going to stay attached. Good. Then we have all of these little pieces that I want to glue on. What other kind of glue should I try? Because none of these glues are making me too happy. I mean, I seriously could do the hot glue, but you know I'll burn myself if I do that. I'm going to try the tweezers. You know this isn't going to work either, but I'm going to give it a shot. Put a little bit there. Hard to believe. What was I thinking? I should have done that all along, huh? I have these hearts. I think I want to maybe use my twine and go around a couple times with twine. I'm just going to put a little drop of glue right there. Put that in. And I'm going to go around it. I kind of like to do that where you where you make a little cross. Then I'm going to push all three into that hot glue and hold them there for a second, and then we'll cut them off. And that'll be that. That'll be our twine. Then I'm going to put this red heart right there. Yeah, I'm using the tweezers on this because you know I'm going to end up burning myself otherwise. There is that. And then we have to do is get our Happy Valentine's Day sentiment, and I'll be right back. So all we need to do now, I punched out my Happy Valentine's Day that was a die, and now all I have to do is glue her down. And our work here is done. The easiest way to do this, if you've never done anything like this with dies before, is to glue down the middle word first so that you have kind of a plan for, you know, where everything goes. But my my Happy and my Valentine are all on the same, they're all together, so I can't do that. I'm just gonna put a little bit of wet glue on this, on as many of the letters as I can. Not a lot, just a little bit. As close to the top as I can. And I'm gonna the word day we're gonna put right there. It should dry clear, so we shouldn't have this big yucky mess when we're done. I do need to put my punch in the back. So there's our card. I hope that you like this, that you learned a little bit about a Spirelli. I'm sorry that I couldn't show you that better. I'm sure there are a lot of videos that will show you that better than I did. I apologize for that. But in the meantime, this is the closest I can get to a pocket card. I hope you enjoyed this, that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.